Well, hello. Today is Thursday, July 2nd, and welcome to our daily devotional for today. As we begin, just want to remind us to pause and consider what we're grateful for. Gratitude lays the foundation for worship and fosters relationship with humans and with God. So let's do that together now. Our passage for today is a continuation of 1 Peter chapter 2. I'll be reading it twice, and I invite you to pay attention to what stands out to you as I read it as a possible indication of how God might want to speak to you today. I'll read it. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people belonging to God, that you might declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness and into his wonderful light. Once you were not a people, but now you are the people of God. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. Dear friends, therefore, I urge you, as aliens and strangers in the world, to abstain from sinful desires which wage war against your soul. Live such good lives amongst the pagans that, though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God in the day he visits us. Let's read that one more time. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people belonging to God, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness and into his wonderful light. Once you were not a people, but now you are a people. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. Therefore, dear friends, I urge you, as aliens and strangers in the world, to abstain from sinful desires which wage war against your soul. Live such good lives among the pagans that, though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day he visits us. Therefore, dear friends, in light of all that's come before, notice Peter's heart towards the people he's writing to. This is not a cold letter from the boss. These are dear friends. And Peter urges us, as aliens and strangers in the world, to abstain from sinful desires which wage war against our soul. This is important to Peter. What do you think Peter means when he describes us as aliens and strangers in the world? Right? In some ways, this could even almost be politically charged language for today. I think the essence of it is, right, that this world is not our home. For those of us described in the paragraph above, this chosen people, this royal priesthood, this holy nation, this people belonging to God, this people that are now formed as the people of God by virtue of receiving mercy and forgiveness from God, that group of people, us, presumably you, presumably me, this community of Jesus's people, both in its family and local expressions and across cities and the world. This community of Jesus' people, we are aliens and strangers in the world. This is not our home. We dwell here We are pilgrims here, but we're not residents here. We're not property owners, so to speak. This is not our natural habitat, so to speak. We have another home, and we are guests here, sojourners. As Paul says somewhere else, our citizenship is in heaven, is in the heavens. We are citizens of the kingdom of heaven, and yet in the meantime, we are travelers, aliens and strangers, pilgrims, emissaries in the world. What difference does thinking that way about your way of being in the world? What difference does that make to how you think about your way of being in the world? If that were true, how might you live differently? And then Peter goes on to say that in light of the fact that we are aliens and strangers in this world, that we're called upon to abstain from sinful desires. Why? Because they're not the practices that are native to us. They're not our way of being. You might say almost that they're not our cultural practices. Injustice, slander, gossip, violence in the name of power, thievery, greed, gluttony, everything opposite of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Sloth, malice, lust, we're to abstain from these things because they're not native to us. They're not right for us. It's like they're like foods we can't digest. In fact, he goes on to say that these practices wage war against our soul. Is that how you think of sin? It's waging war against your soul. If we think about it, and the things that would fit into this category as sins at all, we tend to see like the enticing good parts, right? Oh, this will make me feel better. This will relieve my stress. This will sort of numb the pain or numb the anxiety or numb my uncomfortability. This is my right. But yet actually, it's destructive to the deepest parts of who we are. Therefore, we're invited to abstain. Which desires, sinful desires, do you find yourself most tempted to and maybe experience as pleasant in the moment but destructive later? Where do you see this operating in your life? Again, Peter urges you, because this is not your natural practice. He urges you to lay it aside for the sake of your soul. How will you respond? But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people belonging to God, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. Once you were not a people, but now you are the people of God. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. Therefore, dear friends, I urge you as aliens and strangers in the world to abstain from sinful desires, which wage war against your soul. Live such good lives among the pagans, that though they may accuse you of doing wrong, they will see your good deeds and glorify God on the day he visits us. Dear God, I pray that you would reveal to us yourself, reveal to us Jesus, present in our lives, near to us. As you think of the last 24 hours, what moments bubble up to the surface as times when you experience the nearness of God in your life? You felt a welling up of lightness around the idea of faith, hope, and joy. In a similar way, as you consider the last 24 hours, what moments come up when you felt like a heaviness of a withdrawal of faith, hope, and joy? Maybe God's presence seeming distant. Name those times, identify them, talk to God about them now. And in light of what you've discovered in this brief examine, what have you discovered about God? What is God inviting you into today? How can you respond? Now, as we close, I invite you to talk to God as you would with a friend about the cares and concerns that you're carrying into today. Go in peace. You're loved.